Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This Oase Escape 90 is coming up about 3 months now. If you haven't seen the build video, it's up on the channel. It's in 2 parts and I'll leave a link for you to check it out. But we have encountered some algae, so there is quite a bit of green string algae appearing in the skip, and there is also some sort of like BBA as well. So first things first, I'm going to do a water test, and upon testing them, just for reference, I've done nitrate, phosphate, and iron just because I wanted to check the iron levels. But mostly I was considering what the nitrate and phosphate was going to be. And as it turns out, the nitrate's on 0 and the phosphate is a little bit high. So the first port of call was to add some Amano shrimps. That was always something that I wanted to add. They do tend to be the sort of better algae-eating shrimps out of sort of like all the shrimps that are available in the aquarium hobby. Everyone tends to go for Amano shrimps to eat algae, but I've had them in for about a week now and they don't seem to have done anything, and I can never really seem to spot them either. This was about the only footage that I managed to get of them, and then they immediately went into hiding. So yeah, maybe they're just a little bit shy, but there is still algae in the tank, so yeah, if I could fire them I would, but hey ho. They also seem to be obsessed with going into the skimmer as well now. Luckily they're still alive, but yeah. The next thing that I wanted to do is change to an inline diffuser. So I got this inline diffuser from Horizon Aquatics. CO2 Art is the brand. And this is what it looks like. So it doesn't actually look like much. There's also no instructions in the box either, which, I mean, it probably doesn't need them, but I was a little bit confused about which way you were supposed to put it. But I figured it was probably sort of like logo at the top. The current CO2 setup in the tank is the in-tank diffuser, and I think that the biggest issue that I'm having is the dilution and diffusion rate. So we're going to add this. So obviously, with it being inline, this means that it sits in your filter, and it says that it's supposed to sit as close to your filter as possible to get the best sort of dilution rate. So I hate doing anything with filters. I have also got this shut-off valve. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it yet because obviously that's going to have to sit in the sort of pipe work as well. And it's just going to mean that I'm going to have this big, like 30 centimetre plus rigid bit sat in the middle of the tube. And yeah, I think it's just going to annoy me. So I'm just going to start with installing the actual diffuser. Now, the issue that I'm having here is that I'm trying to twist that sort of cap, that screw over sort of the bottom, but it doesn't seem to be going on. So I'm wondering if what you're supposed to do is push the pipe on and then screw the sort of like screw thing up the pipe. I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's no instructions, so I'm just kind of winging it and doing what I can. So we finally got it in position, connected all up to the filter. So as you can see, it goes from the filter through the diffuser, up through the pipes and out through the lily pipe. So the next thing to do is obviously connect the CO2. Now the right side of my cabinet is an absolute dump, so I'm going to have to sort that out a little bit. But obviously this CO2 pipe is going to have to run through and connect into the diffuser. So with that done, I've realised that it's just messy and I am going to have to sort this cabinet out a little bit more and probably put the CO2 next to the filter, just because I don't like the pipe work being sort of like bent everywhere. Just in case it gets any kinks. But because I am so worried about leaks, I've moved the electrics up from the floor and moved the shelf up as well. Because knowing my luck, this is going to leak. The downside to this is you've obviously got 2 extra points where it can leak. I have put some liquid in the bubble counter and I'm setting it to about 3 bubbles a second. So because the CO2 is supposed to dilute better, I'm going to reduce the amount of bubbles per second, but we will monitor that with a drop checker. So I've cleaned the drop checker out. I'm going to add some fresh solution. And I'm going to put this in the back far left corner of the tank. So I'm thinking that obviously the CO2 is going to get pushed out of the lily pipe and then obviously like come down to the bottom of the right hand side of the tank and go back up. So this should technically be the furthest point away from the CO2. So if that's green, we're good. But yeah, we'll kind of just dial that in as we go, and I'm hoping that that's going to make a difference. And as for the lack of nitrates, I'm going to try this Oase fertilizer because it's got all the things that I feel like my tank is missing in regards to nutrients. So we'll pop some of them in and I will give you an update in a few weeks' time. Thank you so much for watching. I'll leave you with some cinematic footage and I will see you on the next one. Bye.